The first sign that Earth was no longer safe came from the sky. It was a bright morning in the middle of a busy city when the first alien ship appeared. The clouds parted as a massive object, covered in strange glowing lights, hovered over the skyline. It was like nothing anyone had ever seen before, its sleek, metallic surface reflecting the sun, its form both terrifying and majestic. People stopped in their tracks, staring in disbelief at the dark shadow above them. But it wasn't long before panic took over. The alien ships had arrived. The skies darkened as more ships emerged from the clouds, filling the atmosphere with their cold, mechanical presence. Their weapons were already charged, ready to wipe out everything beneath them. The people of Earth had no idea what was coming. Cities had no defenses capable of stopping these invaders. The aliens had thought this day would be easy. Earth, a primitive planet with no true spacefaring power, would fall quickly. The humans were seen as weak, barely capable of defending themselves against the slightest threat. It was supposed to be an easy conquest. The first wave of alien ships fired their destructive weapons at the Earth's surface, sending blasts of energy into the crowded streets below. Buildings crumbled, cars exploded, and fires started to rage everywhere. The ground shook with the force of the attacks, and people screamed in terror as they ran for cover. In a matter of minutes, what had once been a thriving city had turned into a war zone. But the aliens weren't prepared for what happened next. A group of humans, unnoticed by the invaders until now, had gathered in a hidden underground facility beneath the city. They were part of a special force, a secret group who had been preparing for something like this. Unknown to the aliens, humans had been studying ancient technologies, artifacts left behind by their own ancestors and possibly by other civilizations from the stars. One artifact, a weapon of unimaginable power, had been hidden for centuries. The aliens had no idea it even existed. As the alien ships continued their assault, the humans in the underground base began activating the ancient device. Its power surged, causing a low hum to fill the air. They didn't hesitate. Without waiting for any sign of success, they rushed to the surface, ready to fight back. As they emerged from the tunnels, the alien ships had just begun their second round of attacks, preparing to wipe out the survivors who had dared to resist. But the humans, now armed with their hidden weapon, didn't wait for the invaders to finish. With a blast that echoed across the battlefield, the weapon fired. The beam shot up into the sky, hitting one of the alien ship's dead center. The ship exploded in a brilliant burst of light. It shattered into pieces, its remains falling to the ground in a rain of metal and fire. The aliens, who had thought themselves invincible, were left stunned. The remaining ships hesitated. They had not expected this. The humans, using their newfound weapon, kept firing, taking down alien ship after alien ship. The aliens' shock turned to fear. They had miscalculated. These humans were not as weak as they had assumed. There was something about them, something in the way they fought. They were relentless. They didn't give up. Even in the face of certain death, they stood tall. The aliens regrouped, sending down soldiers to engage the humans on the ground. The battle had only just begun, but the humans were already showing them that Earth would not fall without a fight. The alien soldiers, with their advanced armor and weapons, marched down from their ships, confident that they would crush these primitive humans with ease. But again, the aliens underestimated the humans. The humans fought back with fierce determination, using the environment to their advantage. They knew their city better than the invaders. With every weapon at their disposal, from guns to homemade explosives, the humans did everything they could to hold their ground. The alien soldiers had no idea that the humans had been training for this moment. They had been preparing for years, hiding in plain sight, waiting for the day when their world would be threatened. As the aliens pushed deeper into the city, the humans continued to resist. But it wasn't just their weapons that surprised the invaders. It was their spirit. The aliens had never seen anything like it. The humans fought not for victory, but for survival. They fought for their homes, for their families, for their very existence. It was a fight that the aliens had never expected. It was a fight that the humans were willing to die for. The aliens began to realize that they had made a huge mistake. They had assumed that Earth was just another easy target in the vast universe. But they had underestimated humanity. These people, with their ancient technologies and unbreakable will, were far more dangerous than they had ever imagined. For the first time, the aliens began to feel the sting of fear. They had come to conquer, but now they were questioning whether they would be the ones to fall. As the humans fought on, there was no turning back. The alien ships hovered above, watching as their soldiers clashed with the humans below. But the aliens now understood one undeniable truth. Earth was not a primitive planet, and the humans were not as helpless as they had once believed. The aliens' sense of superiority began to crumble as they witnessed the relentless power of humanity. This would not be an easy conquest. Earth, and the humans who lived on it, were not to be underestimated. And so, the battle raged on. With every passing moment, the aliens realized just how wrong they had been. The humans were not weak. They were something far more dangerous. They were determined to survive, and they were willing to fight for their world, no matter the cost. After the initial shock of the humans' unexpected resistance, the aliens scrambled to regroup. The once confident invaders now found themselves facing something they hadn't anticipated. The humans were not just fighting back. They were thriving in the chaos. With each passing minute, the aliens began to realize that their initial assessment of Earth's inhabitants had been dangerously wrong. The alien commanders gathered in their war room, far above the battlefield, watching the destruction unfold. On their screens, they could see the human forces still pushing forward with a determination that was unlike anything they had encountered before. The humans fought with a raw energy that seemed to grow stronger with every battle. The more blood that was spilled, the fiercer they became. "What is this?" one of the alien leaders hissed, his sharp eyes fixed on the images of human soldiers charging at their forces, showing no sign of fear or retreat. "These creatures, what is it about them?" A second alien, one of the scientists who had been studying Earth's past, raised a worried claw. "It's not just the weaponry, sir. There's something different about them. Every time they spill blood, they seem to become stronger. We have never seen such a reaction from a species before." The commander's eyes narrowed. "Are you telling me that these primitive beings are somehow drawing strength from their own blood?" The scientist hesitated. "It's more than that. Earth's history is full of bloodshed, of wars, of violence. Every time these humans face destruction, they grow stronger. It's as if they have learned to thrive on it. But I don't fully understand why." As the conversation continued, the aliens realized they had overlooked a terrifying possibility. Humanity's violence, its wars, its history of bloodshed, was not just a weakness, as they had assumed. It was a source of power. The humans had been tempered by their battles. The blood they spilled in war didn't weaken them, it fueled them. And the more they fought, the more powerful they became. On the surface, the battle raged on. The humans had already taken down several alien ships with the ancient weapon they had discovered. But the aliens weren't just worried about the technology anymore. They were becoming afraid of what the humans were capable of when pushed to their limits. As the alien forces continued their assault, sending more soldiers and machines to the ground, they began to observe something strange. Every time a human fell, another seemed to rise in their place, just as determined, just as fierce. The human resistance seemed endless, as if they had an infinite supply of fighters ready to take the place of the fallen. And then it happened. A human soldier, heavily wounded from a blast, stumbled forward onto the battlefield. His comrades tried to drag him back, but he shook them off. His eyes filled with something wild. With blood dripping from his wounds, he grabbed a weapon, his face twisted in determination, and charged straight at the nearest alien squad. The alien soldiers, who had been confident in their superiority, hesitated. They were used to defeating lesser species easily, But this human's ferocity was unlike anything they had seen before. As the soldier fought, the sight of his blood spilling only seemed to drive him further, pushing him into a rage. He fought as though his life depended on it, because it did. And in that moment, something strange happened. The blood that had soaked into the soil seemed to seep into the earth itself, creating a powerful pulse that resonated through the battlefield. The aliens could feel it, a strange energy, almost like a wave of heat or static, rising from the human blood. The power was unmistakable. "What is this?" an alien soldier whispered as he watched in shock. The human, though gravely injured, was stronger than any alien warrior he had ever faced. With each swing of his weapon, more of their comrades fell. His rage seemed to be fueling his every move, and with every drop of blood spilled, he seemed to grow stronger, more unstoppable. The aliens couldn't comprehend it. This wasn't just a fight for survival. It was something more. The human spirit, their drive, and the blood that flowed through them created a force they couldn't control. In their arrogance, the aliens had underestimated what they were up against. As the battle continued, the aliens began to see the connection more clearly. They could no longer treat humans as weak or primitive. Their blood was the key to their strength, a strength that seemed to grow exponentially with every drop shed. The aliens had seen this before in other species. There had been rumors of planets where blood rituals were practiced, where warriors gained power from the very act of battle. But nothing on Earth had prepared them for what they were witnessing. This wasn't just some ancient superstition. This was real, and it was terrifying. The commander looked at the screen with growing concern. "Prepare the next wave," he ordered, his voice cold. "We will not lose this planet to these creatures, but we must be cautious. We have no idea what we are dealing with here." But despite their fears, the aliens couldn't stop the humans. No matter how many of them fell, more kept rising. And with each moment that passed, the humans' strength grew. They had no intention of losing. They would fight until the very end, and with every drop of blood, they were getting closer to victory. The aliens had made a grave mistake in underestimating humanity, and as they watched the humans fight, they began to realize that this war would not be as easy as they had thought. In fact, it was just beginning, and they were in for a fight they might not survive. The humans, driven by blood and rage, were a force that would not be stopped. And the aliens were about to learn the hardest lesson of all: never, ever underestimate humanity. The battle was intensifying with each passing hour. The once pristine cities of Earth had become smoldering ruins, but the alien invaders weren't prepared for the ferocity of the human resistance. Despite their advanced technology and overwhelming numbers, the aliens were beginning to feel the tide turning. It wasn't the power of the humans' weapons that had them on edge. It was something deeper, something primal. Every time the humans' blood was spilled, their strength seemed to multiply. They weren't fighting for just survival anymore. They were fighting for something greater. Each human that fell in battle left behind a symbol of sacrifice, but each loss was met with more fury from the ones who remained. There was no fear, no hesitation, just pure, unyielding rage. The alien commanders, watching from their ships high above the planet, could no longer deny what was happening. They had underestimated the humans in every way imaginable. They had thought of them as weak, primitive creatures, not worthy of their full attention. But now, as the human resistance grew stronger with every drop of blood spilled, the aliens began to panic. "They're not stopping," one of the alien commanders shouted, his voice tinged with fear. "We've lost control of the situation. Their numbers keep increasing. What are they doing?" A second commander, a strategist who had been studying Earth's history, looked down at the screens with concern. Their wars, their constant battles, they'd been preparing for this. This bloodshed, it's in their nature to fight. It fuels them. The more blood they shed, the more they want to destroy. The realization hit like a wave. The more the aliens attacked, the more powerful the humans became. It wasn't just a physical strength. There was a deep emotional energy driving them, something that surged with every battle, with every loss, and with every victory. Below, the humans were organizing. Despite the chaos around them, they managed to form an effective resistance. Every city, every hidden base, became a stronghold for the people of Earth. They fought not only with advanced weapons, but with an intensity the aliens could never match. In the heart of a ruined city, the leader of a small human resistance group, Captain Sarah Alvarez, stood tall amidst the destruction. Blood stained her uniform, her face grim with determination. She had lost many good men and women already, but they were still standing. She could feel it, the energy of the fallen, the spirits of those who had died for their cause. Their blood had not been spilled in vain. It was their legacy, their power. Captain Alvarez's voice crackled through the comms, her words cold and calculated. Listen up. We've been pushed to the edge, but we are not backing down. This is our planet, our home, and we will fight until the last breath. We've taken down their ships, and we will take down their army. For every one of us they kill, they'll have to face 100 more. As she spoke, the ground beneath her feet trembled. Alien war machines, towering and menacing, rolled down the streets. But Alvarez didn't flinch. She stood strong, leading her troops forward with unwavering resolve. The battle raged on, but now it was no longer a one-sided war. The humans were not retreating. They were not afraid. They were getting stronger. On the front lines, a young soldier named James Carter fought like a man possessed. His body was bruised, his uniform torn, but his eyes burned with the fire of vengeance. He had lost his family in the initial wave of the alien attack, his wife and daughter, gone in an instant. And now, as he picked up his rifle and pushed forward, every enemy he faced was a reminder of what they had taken from him. James could feel it, the power rising within him. His anger, his grief, the blood of his fallen comrades. It all came together, turning him into something more than a soldier. He was a weapon of pure, unrelenting rage. As the aliens advanced, they encountered a force unlike any they had ever seen. Their high-tech weapons tore through the streets, but the humans didn't falter. They fought back with everything they had, and it was clear the tide was beginning to turn. The alien soldiers began to hesitate, unsure of what they were facing. Keep pushing. Don't stop. Show them we're not just some primitive species, shouted Captain Alvarez, her voice cutting through the chaos. The humans surged forward, launching their counterattack. They didn't care about the odds. They didn't care about the technology or the alien forces they faced. This was their world, and they would defend it no matter what. The first wave of alien soldiers, who had once been so confident in their victory, now found themselves trapped and overwhelmed. With every victory, the humans gained more ground. The aliens, who had once thought themselves invincible, were now being forced to retreat. The blood of Earth's defenders had become their strength, each drop adding to their fury, their will to win. In the alien command center, the mood was grim. The once certain victory was slipping away. The humans were not as weak as they had thought. In fact, they were becoming stronger with every moment. The aliens' technology, their advanced weapons, and their superior numbers were all meaningless against the fury of humanity's determination. What are they? An alien officer whispered, his voice shaking. How are they doing this? The answer was simple. They were human. And humanity, when backed into a corner, was the most dangerous force in the galaxy. The alien forces began to realize that this wasn't a battle they could win, not through sheer power or technology. They had miscalculated the human spirit, the one thing that the invaders could never defeat. It wasn't just about weapons, it was about heart, about the drive to survive, to protect what was theirs. As the battle raged on, it was clear. The aliens had made a fatal mistake. They had come to Earth expecting an easy victory, but instead, they had awakened something they couldn't control, the wrath of Earth. And this wrath, fueled by the blood of fallen warriors, would not be extinguished until every last alien invader was sent fleeing from the planet they had thought they would conquer. The war was far from over, but the aliens had learned a painful lesson: never underestimate humanity. The battle had raged on for days, but now something shifted in the air. The alien forces, once confident in their overwhelming power, were no longer sure of their victory. The humans had turned the tide, their resistance growing more relentless with every passing hour. The aliens, who had thought they could crush Earth's people with ease, were now struggling to contain a force they couldn't comprehend. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the humans rallied in the ruins of what had once been a bustling city. The streets, littered with debris and the remains of alien war machines, were now the site of a final stand. Captain Alvarez and her team had set up a command center in the heart of the destruction, their weapons ready, their resolve unshaken. She paced back and forth, her mind focused on the next move. Every moment counted. The aliens were reorganizing, preparing to strike back with everything they had left, but they hadn't accounted for one thing. The humans had learned from the chaos. They had adapted. We've taken out their heavy artillery, but they still have numbers, Captain Alvarez said, her voice steady as she addressed the remaining soldiers. We can't keep defending forever. It's time we take the fight to them. The soldiers gathered around, determination in their eyes. They knew what this meant. They had nothing to lose, but Earth had everything to fight for. The blood of their fallen comrades, now soaked into the very soil of their planet, fueled their every move. They weren't just fighting for survival, they were fighting for vengeance, for their homes, their families, their future. Meanwhile, high above in the alien command ship, the invaders watched as the humans prepared for the next phase of their assault. They had underestimated Earth's people in every way possible. Their machines, designed to conquer and annihilate, had failed. Their advanced technology, once thought to be unbeatable, had been no match for the raw fury of humanity. They're regrouping, the alien commander muttered, a rare hint of worry creeping into his voice. We've thrown everything we have at them, and they still fight back. How are they doing this? The chief strategist, an alien known for his calculating nature, responded grimly. It's not just their weapons, Commander. It's their resolve. They have an uncanny ability to keep fighting no matter what. They are not like the other species we've encountered. Their blood, it's a catalyst. Every drop they spill makes them stronger. Then we'll give them something to fear, the commander growled. Prepare the final assault. We end this tonight. But as the aliens prepared to launch their ultimate strike, the humans were already several steps ahead. In the depths of their underground hideout, Alvarez's team had discovered something, an ancient human artifact, long buried beneath the planet's surface. The artifact wasn't just any weapon. It was a relic of Earth's forgotten past, something that had been hidden away in case of a moment like this. It had been waiting for this time, waiting for humanity to rise once again. The humans didn't know exactly how it worked, but they didn't need to. The weapon, buried beneath centuries of dust and dirt, was now their last hope. It was a massive ancient energy cannon, capable of destroying entire fleets with a single blast, and it was ready. As the alien forces made their final approach, confident that they would crush the remaining human resistance, they were unaware of the trap being set for them. The humans had outsmarted them once again. Alvarez's voice echoed over the comms. It's time. Move out. The human forces, armed with every weapon they had scavenged and with the newly activated artifact at their command, began to advance toward the alien forces, ready to strike. The aliens, sensing the approaching danger, increased their firepower, unleashing wave after wave of soldiers and weapons. But the humans were different now. They didn't retreat. They didn't run. Every time they were pushed back, they returned with twice the force. And then, just as the alien forces thought they had the upper hand, the humans revealed their secret weapon, the massive energy cannon, hidden beneath the Earth's surface, powered up with a deafening hum. The skies above the battlefield darkened as the massive energy pulse built, and the humans unleashed everything they had. The cannon's blast shot through the atmosphere, a brilliant burst of energy that seemed to shake the very fabric of the universe itself. The alien ships, which had been closing in for the final assault, were caught in the blast's path. Their shields flickered and failed under the force of the energy, and in an instant, the leading fleet of alien ships was obliterated. The battlefield fell silent for a moment as the humans watched the results of their strike. The once proud alien fleet was now nothing more than scattered debris. The remaining forces, stunned by the sheer power of the humans' retaliation, hesitated. And that hesitation was all the humans needed. With a renewed sense of purpose, the human forces surged forward, their blood pumping with adrenaline. Every soldier fought with the strength of 100. They had done the impossible. They had struck the aliens where it hurt most. The tide had turned, and there was no going back. The remaining alien forces, once so confident in their victory, now found themselves in a desperate retreat. The humans were no longer the prey. They were the predators. And the aliens had just learned that the worst thing they could do was underestimate humanity. The final push had begun. The aliens had underestimated Earth's power and resilience, and now they would pay the price. The war was far from over, but the humans had just made one thing clear. They would not surrender. The blood of their fallen would carry them to victory, no matter what. And the aliens had no idea just how much destruction the humans could unleash. The atmosphere was thick with tension. The battlefield had become a chaotic swirl of fire, dust, and the lingering smell of burning metal. The aliens, once brimming with confidence, were now desperate. Their massive warships, previously the epitome of invincibility, had been shattered by the humans' ancient weapon. The remaining alien forces, stunned and broken, had fallen into disarray. But they weren't giving up. Not yet. In their retreat, the aliens had activated their ultimate weapon, a devastating energy pulse that could wipe out entire cities in seconds. They were willing to sacrifice everything to ensure that humanity was crushed. But little did they know, the humans had anticipated this move. Inside the last remaining human stronghold, Captain Alvarez gathered her top officers in a small command room, the walls battered from the previous attacks. Their faces were grim but resolute. This was the moment they had been waiting for, the final assault. They had to act fast, or the aliens would unleash their devastating weapon and wipe out what remained of Earth's defenses. "Listen up," Alvarez said, her voice steady and commanding. "The aliens are pulling back, but they have one last card to play. We need to find their main command ship, destroy it, and stop the energy pulse before it's too late. This is it, people. We take them out now, or they wipe us off the map." Her words cut through the room like a blade. The soldiers, battered but unbroken, stood at attention. They had seen the destruction the aliens had caused and knew this was their last chance to win. They wouldn't let Earth fall, not after everything they'd been through. The plan was simple but dangerous. Alvarez and her team would infiltrate the alien command ship, disable its weapons systems, and then launch a final attack. The fate of humanity rested in their hands. Outside, the remaining human forces prepared for the assault. The once destroyed cities had been reclaimed, and Earth's remaining warriors stood side by side, their eyes filled with a mix of determination and fury. They had fought through the worst, and now they would face their enemies head-on. As the team moved out, the sound of distant explosions and laser fire echoed across the ruins. The alien forces were regrouping, but the humans were ready. The final battle had begun. Alvarez's team made their way toward the alien command ship, which loomed ominously in the distance. It was enormous, its dark metallic surface reflecting the flames of the ongoing battle. The ship hovered just above the ground, surrounded by a swarm of alien soldiers defending it with everything they had left. But the humans were undeterred. They had one goal: to reach that ship and end this war once and for all. The battle intensified as the two forces collided. The alien soldiers fought with desperate aggression, but the humans, fueled by their survival instinct and the memory of their fallen, fought with unmatched ferocity. The aliens had no idea what they were up against. At the heart of the chaos, Captain Alvarez led her team forward, weaving through debris and alien weapons fire. Her eyes never left the command ship. She could see it, their way in. They had to get there, no matter the cost. As they reached the perimeter of the ship, they encountered heavy resistance. The aliens were relentless, but the humans pushed forward. They had no other choice. Their blood was boiling, their spirits soaring on the energy of their fallen comrades. With each alien they took down, their strength seemed to multiply. Inside the command ship, the alien commanders watched the humans advance with mounting fear. They had underestimated Earth's resistance at every turn, and now they were paying the price. "The humans are too strong," one of the commanders shouted. "We must activate the pulse. It's our only chance." But as the command was given, something unexpected happened. The human forces had already infiltrated the ship's interior. Alvarez and her team had reached the heart of the alien command center. A flickering screen lit up as Alvarez hacked into the ship's systems, her fingers moving quickly over the console. The countdown to launch the energy pulse had already begun. They were running out of time. "Almost there," she muttered, her voice tight with concentration. "We stop this now, or we lose everything." The seconds ticked by like hours as Alvarez worked furiously. The sound of alien footsteps echoed down the corridors, signaling the approaching reinforcements. They were closing in, and she could hear them coming. But she couldn't stop now. With one final keystroke, the countdown halted. The energy pulse, the alien weapon that could obliterate everything in its path, was disabled. But there was no time to celebrate. The ship's alarms blared, and the entire command center shook as the alien forces, realizing they were out of time, launched a final wave of attacks. The humans had one shot at this, and they had to make it count. "Move out," Alvarez barked. "We've got what we came for. Now, let's finish this." As her team raced toward the ship's escape route, the humans launched their final strike. With the alien weapon disabled, there was nothing stopping them from planting explosives at the heart of the command ship. Alvarez, knowing the mission was almost complete, exchanged one last look with her team. It was a look of shared understanding, a look that said they had made it this far, and they wouldn't stop until they saw Earth freed from the alien menace. The countdown to detonation began. The bomb was set, and the entire ship would soon be engulfed in flames. 5 seconds, Alvarez said, her voice steady despite the chaos around her. "Get ready." The final moment was upon them. The alien command ship, the symbol of their invincibility, was about to be destroyed. As the countdown hit 0, the ship erupted in a brilliant flash of light. The shockwave sent a ripple through the battlefield, and the alien forces, what was left of them, were thrown into chaos. The war was over. The aliens had been defeated, but for the humans, the victory was bittersweet. They had lost so much, so many lives, so many loved ones. But in the end, humanity had triumphed. And they had proven, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that they were not to be underestimated. Earth would rebuild, stronger than ever before. And the galaxy would remember the day the aliens learned the hardest lesson of all: never underestimate humanity.